Hey guys, this is Akshay Sura. Today we'll be walking through migrating content to Content Hub CMP, Content Marketing Platform. This could be content which you have in blogs, in articles, news pages, anything of that sort in your external systems, as well as including your Sitecore XP. And one of the common questions people ask is, why am I going to push everything from XP Sitecore CMS into Content Hub CMP? Very valid question. The answer is that when you're in the Sitecore world for this long, used to having content inside of the CMS, you tend to forget that the only purpose it's there is for primarily serving the goal of displaying that piece of content on your front-end website. What you do have to think about is you need to move yourself out of that role and into the part where the content production, the ideation, the creation all happens in one singular place, which is Content Hub. And then once you produce it, it goes into different channels. So one of the channel is your Sitecore CMS. The other channel could be a social media integration. Another channel could be syndication to external systems. So again, valid question, but it's better to start going towards the goal of producing your content in CMP. Again, we talked about this in one of my previous blog posts. So we do have a one-way integration from CMP coming into XP. So items that are created on CMP can be synced back to the XP pretty easily. There's no two-way sync at this moment. Relational sync isn't there either, but they are upcoming. Like the other systems, CMP relies on m.content. That's the main entity here. And m.content relies on content types. So the content type being, a blog, a user group, an article, a news. It is what you define. And Content Hub has a interesting way of dealing with content types, and we'll go over that shortly. Now, in terms of moving data, again, from your external system, this could be your XP as well. The content we are pushing into Azure Queue, which interacts with Content Hub and then creates these content types. If you do have the CMP connector enabled, then it's going to the moment the content gets created, if you put it in the white publication status and you define that according to however you configured your CMP connector, it'll get synced back into Sitecore. But for the purpose of this demo, we're just looking at item 1 and item 2, not really looking at the CMP connector because we took care of it in a previous video. This is a Content Hub instance. What I would like to go through is I'm going to go into schema to show you guys the entity, which is m.content. Again, has a ton of attributes, is used by a couple of different things. Each attribute has a bunch of each section has a bunch of fields associated with it. For instance, the blog details may have fields which are specific to blog details, same with user group details. But if we go back here, and I'm going to actually get back all the way here and then go into content types. So as you can see, we have predefined content types: advertisement, blog, email, recipe, social media, webinar, and white paper. User group is something what I added. And I just added 3 fields inside of there. I could add it to the user group details. So when you add a new type inside of the content types, what happens is that it also creates, let me go into taxonomy. It creates an entry in this taxonomy as well. So if we notice the blog type, has an m.contenttype.blog, and all the predefined types have a pretty identifier, but the ones once we create manually have a different type of identifier. And this is crucial because even though you're creating an entity of m.content, when you're going to assign a type to that content, you do need to know the identifier for the type of content you're dealing with, and that's very important. So our goal is to be able to add these items in here. So I have a few tests which I ran just to make sure it's actually running. All of them look the same because I kept the same data, but we will try to add a block type and a custom type, which is the user group which we created, and then see how that goes. Okay, here we have our trusty sample application, which I use for quite a few things, including pushing data in and out. So I'll quickly put together a UI which will let us add a blog and a user group. Again, very simple information. I plugged in some sample info. Don't expect this UI to be a production level. I just threw something together. So if I'm going to go ahead and create a blog, give it a second or two, and then I will do the same for the user group. Once those are created, I'll come back here, refresh, and as you can see, we see two of them created. So let's go into the user group, make sure things are looking the way that we want to. So I created a user group, and in there, this is the presentation, that's the date and time, which were the fields. And then I'll go back, and then let's check the blog post, and then also take a look at this. So we have some information. So as you can see, it was able to add the content we needed it to add. Next, we'll take a look at the code to see how exactly this was accomplished. So here I have a queue-based function for processing blog. Nothing out of the ordinary. We're trying to use the web SDK, connect to Content Hub. We're trying to impersonate a user just so that it gets created under a user's context. We are creating with the definition of m.content, putting in some values. Here essentially we are trying to specify, get the block content type ID dynamically without hard coding any numbers, and then assign the content relationship. Same thing here, trying to assign the in progress life cycle to it, as well as the active or approved for creation state to this particular blog item. Same thing with the user group as well. The only difference is we get a different a content type based on the user group we need with the definition name. Tag it. Super simple code, not really complicated, and this basically gets the job done. Again, thank you for watching the video. I hope you found this useful. We produce quite a bit of content in terms of blogs and videos in the Sitecore space and in the Microsoft stack. So please go ahead and subscribe to our LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube channels. Reach out to us through public channels if you need any help or any guidance or anything we can help you solve. Thanks again for watching this video. Have a wonderful day.